You're watching Capitol View, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Arkansas.
Welcome back to the program. I'm joined now by attorney David Couch. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Roby.
He is what I describe as a ballot initiative activist. I don't know if that's on your calling card or not, but you've done a lot of ballot initiatives.
Yes, sir. Sure have.
So minimum wage, medical marijuana, what else? Casinos. Been a little bit everywhere.
Minimum wage twice.
Your newest endeavor involves a very wide-ranging coalition.
It is a very wide-ranging
diverse
coalition
of left, right, and center to enshrine in the Arkansas Constitution the Freedom of Information Act. I got a feeling that it's not as easy as just lifting the code out and dropping it in the Constitution. What's this going to look like?
Yeah, you're right. It's a little bit more difficult than that. But, you know, that is the primary objective of the coalition, is to take the Freedom of Information Act as it existed prior to September of 2023 and pretty much enshrine it in the Constitution. You know, we had a really good act. I mean, it's been in the law since the 60s, and I think, you know, national people have always looked at us as a model of openness, and so we want to keep that model going. And the reason we want to put it in the Constitution is to make it a little bit more difficult for the General Assembly to tinker with.
Yeah. So what will the amendment look like? Just can you tell me what some of the parameters of it will be?
Sure.
And when might we see some sort of document?
There's been a group of us that have been working diligently for the last few weeks on a draft of the amendment. I think that we're probably going to release it early next week because, you know, since this is openness and transparency, we're going to be open and transparent. So we're going to, here's our draft of amendment and let people comment on it. And, you know, maybe there's things that we didn't think about that should be included, or maybe there's things that in there that people don't want included in there. But basically it's going to set back it to the September 1, 2023. And then, you know, we'll deal with public meetings in there. We're going to have a section with public meetings because, you know, it's always been kind of a difficult definition in Arkansas as to what is a public meeting. So we're going to deal with public meetings, and we're going to deal with, you know, kind of maybe modernize it a little bit and put some stricter penalties in it for people who violate it.
Yeah, will it be a clean amendment though? There won't be other potential kind of initiatives or?
No.
It'll be strictly Freedom of Information Act.
Freedom of Information Act and public meetings.
Tell me a little bit about the coalition that has come together on this. It's an interesting coalition. I watched it form on social media during the special session, now I mean, who's part of the group?
Well, you know, I don't know if there's really a group of the coalition. It's really odd. I've been on several Zooms from the right and from the left, and it's just grown, and it's really an odd coalition. I don't know, odd, that sounds kind of bad, but, you know, there are very conservative people and there are very progressive people that are on the Zoom, and we all agree that this is such an important issue in the state of Arkansas. It's like, you know, I don't get many calls from the conduit, but, you know, they're on there and they have representatives, and then here are like the progressive women's pack.
Libertarians?
Libertarians, absolutely, yeah, in the middle. And we've all come together. You know, one of the things I hope that we get out of this is that, you know, we keep this coalition together in the future and address other issues that come up.
I'll be curious to see what those issues are. How many signatures do you have to get?
It's a constitutional amendment, so it's be 90,704.
All right, you got to get it through the Attorney General's office on the draft. Anticipate some issues on that?
Probably. You know, it's not really a simple amendment, you know, because, you know, we're really setting the law back to the way it was, and then we're going to add some things to it. So, you know, the ballot title process has always been somewhat tricky through the Attorney General. But if it works right, it's really a good process that we have because you get back and forth.
We have another, a new process for gathering signatures as well. It's got some high hurdles to clear. Is that a detriment to you, or do you feel like that's an achievable, 90,000's achievable?
Yeah, 90,000 is easy. It's always been 10% of the people who voted in the last election. You know, the General Assembly changed the law last session where you have to have a minimum number percentage from 50 instead of 15 counties, but I filed a lawsuit on that, and it's pending in circuit court. I think that'll fall apart. But either way, we're going to work hard with this coalition, you know, because not only is it diverse from left and right, it's diverse. It's all across the state.
Right. I don't think you have trouble getting volunteers for to carry some of those petitions around. All right, last question for you. Will you take up other potential measures next year? There could be some advantage to having some canvassers out there for a Freedom of Information Act and also for something else.
Yeah, well, you know, there's one that we filed already is the one to take the tax off of feminine hygiene products and diapers. So that'll be out there. And yeah, there are a couple more measures that we're working on in the field.
Anything you're involved with?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about them?
I can't. All right. But they're good. They'll fit in with this theme of open government and less interference by the General Assembly.
All right. All I ask is that you just put me on the list to receive the information when you're ready to reveal what it is. Promise?
Number one on the list.
I appreciate that.
You're right.
I'd let everybody know that I'm number one on that list for receiving that. David Couch,
Thanks
always
a lot.
a pleasure to visit with
too.
you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We're back with more right after this.